Hi everyone. All right, we are going to start Junie B, first grader Shipwrecked, and it is the 23rd book of Junie B. So I counted and we perfectly have 6 more books including this one. So we'll read 1 more book per week till the end of the school year and then we'll be done. All right, so chapter 1 is called Breathing Germs. Dear first grade journal, today's the end of the week. Mr. Scary is taking attendance. Attendance is the school word for who isn't here today. There are lots of children out sick in room 1. I'm going to count them, I think. I will be back in a minute. Okay, here's the teensy problem I just ran into. How can I count the people who aren't here? They didn't show up, apparently. Taking attendance is harder than it looks. From Junie B, first grader. I put down my pencil to think about this situation, but I didn't even have time to concentrate, because all of a sudden there was a noise on the other side of the room. I turned my head to look, and splat! A boy named Roger throwed up on the floor. It was the disgustingest thing I ever saw, and the air did not smell delightful. I quick held my nose and I closed my eyes. Only too bad for me, because my eyes have a brain of their own, and they kept sneaking peeks over there. It was Cheerios, I believe. Finally, I put my head on my desk and I covered up with my arms. Only just then, more trouble happened. And it's called a boy named Sheldon couldn't stand the splatto. So he jumped up from his chair and he ran straight out of room 1. And that was a surprise, I tell ya. Mr. Scary ran after him. He brought Sheldon back in a jiffy. Then he quick called the school nurse, Mrs. Weller, on the phone, and he told her that we needed her help right now. Hurry, he said, fast! So Mrs. Weller zoomed to room 1 as fast as a speedy rocket. Then she hurried over to Roger and she talked to him in a calm voice, and she said, everything is going to be okay. Roger hanged his head real embarrassed. I felt sorry for that guy. Also, he was making me ill. Finally, Mrs. Weller helped him get up from his chair, and she held his hand, and she took him to their office. After that, room 1 could not do any work. How can you do work with splatto on the floor? Only, hooray, hooray! Pretty soon our janitor named Gus Valloni came rushing through the door. I jumped right up when I saw him. Gus Valloni, it's me, it's Junie B. Jones, I hollered out. Roger throwed up. Gus Valloni winked at me. Then he went straight to Roger's desk and he quick took out his important janitor equipment and he sprinkled powder all over the splatto. And wowie wow, that stuff sweeped up like a miracle. We could not believe our eyeballs. Whoa, said my friend named Lenny. See, whoa, said my other friend Jose. That powder is magic. I sniffed the air. It is like magic, Jose. Now it smells lemony fresh in here. All the other children sniffed too. It does smell lemony fresh, said a girl named Shirley. I wish I had some of that stuff for my mother. She loves to clean up messes. Mine does too, said my bestest friend Herbert. Then, all of a sudden, Herb springed out of his seat, very excited. Wait, hold it. My mother's birthday is on Sunday. That's what I'll get her. I'll get her a tub of that magic splatto powder. What's the name of it, Mr. Valloni? Huh? What's it called? Gus Valloni's face went kind of funny. He glanced his eyes at Mr. Scary and then back at Herbert again. Finally, he ran his fingers through his bald hair and he said the name of it. Vomit absorbent, he said. It's called vomit absorbent. At first, Herbert just stood at his desk very frozen and he didn't say any words. Then, after a minute, he did a little shiver and he sat back down. Maybe I'll just draw her a picture, he said. Gus Valloni nodded. Then he packed up his stuff and he waved goodbye to room 1, and Mr. Scary walked him into the hall. While he was gone, Sheldon put his lunch sack on his head. As soon as Mr. Scary saw it, he tried to take it off, but Sheldon held on tight. No, don't. I need this. If I stay in here, I'm not going to catch Roger's germs. I raised my eyebrows at that remark. Yeah, only I don't get it, Sheldon. How can you catch Roger's germs? Gus Valloni just sweeped them up in his bucket, remember? Sheldon talked to me through the bag. Roger's germs aren't just in the bucket, Junie B. Whenever somebody throws up, their germs shoot out in the air all over the place. Then, if somebody breathes that same air, those germs can get sucked right up their nostrils. I did a little cringe at that information. Then I looked all around in the air, and very slowly I lifted my hand and I closed my nose nostrils. Room 1 watched me. Then, one by one, they closed their nose nostrils too. And so all of us held our noses tight with our fingers, and we couldn't breathe the rest of the whole morning. All right, chapter 2 is called Letting Go. It is not easy to hold your nose and eat a sandwich. You can't really swallow that good like that. Also, you can't breathe. The reason I know this is because room 1 just kept on holding our noses while we ate lunch. My ears felt blocked when I chewed. I tapped on my friend Herbert. I am not enjoying my cheese sandwich today, I said. Me either, said Herb. I am not enjoying my sandwich either. I don't even know what I'm eating because I can't taste what's under my lettuce. Oh, sorry. Champ's disrupting our story. I thought for a minute and then I tapped on him again. Yeah, only what if you're eating something you hate? I said. Herb thought too. Then he quick put down his sandwich and he lifted up the bread so both of us could see. And we leaned our heads in real close. Lenny and Jose leaned their heads in too. Said Jose. This is only a guess, but I'm thinking tuna salad. Lenny shook his head. I think ham. Herb made a face. I think I'm done, he said. After that, he got out his apple and he took a big bite. But he couldn't actually get it in his mouth because he was still holding his nostrils. Finally, he got frustration in him. I give up, he grouched. Then he let go of his nose and he breathed in a big sniff of air. Air, he said. It looked good to do that. I let go of my nostrils and breathed too. Air, I said. Next to me, May's whole mouth came open and she did the cuckoo sign at us. You two are crazy to do that. Dirty germs are getting sucked right up your nose this very minute, I bet. I looked surprised at that news. Really, May? Thanks for telling me that. Then I leaned over next to her and I breathed out my nose air on her shoulder. There, all gone, I said. May did a gasp. Ew, she hollered real loud. Then she jumped up and tattletailed to Mr. Scary at the front of the table. Mr. Scary, Junie Jones breathed nose air on my shoulder, and now I've got germs on me, she yelled. Mr. Scary kept on eating his lunch. He was pretending May was not there, I think. May just kept on tapping him, and she wiped her shoulder. Nose air, she hollered. Finally, Mr. Scary stood up real calm, and he walked May back to her seat. Boys and girls, I know many of you are still worried about what happened to Roger this morning, and I promise we'll talk more about this after recess, okay? But right now, you need to release your nostrils and eat your lunch. He stood there and waited. One by one, all of us let go of our nostrils, only not Sheldon. Instead, Sheldon ducked his head under the lunch table and he said he was looking for his pickle. But I peeked at him under there and he was hiding under his napkin, still holding his nose. When the bell finally rang for recess, room 1 was the first class out the door. Fresh air, we shouted, very joyful. Then all of us breathed big snorts of breath because Roger couldn't have shot his germs all the way outside, probably. After that, we skipped and jumped and clapped and played, except not Sheldon and not May. Sheldon sat down and held his nostrils some more, and May went to the water fountain and washed her shoulder. All right, we just finished chapter 2, so tomorrow we will read chapter 3 called Virus.